Okay, we'll go on to public comment. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to make a comment at this time? Please state your name and address, and then we have a 3-minute.
Paul Kwiatkowski. I live at 9441 Gibraltar Woods Court in Fish Creek. And I'd like to address an issue that came up in the last meeting. I'm a retired law enforcement officer of 26 years. In the course of my career, I investigated nearly 240 child sex abuse cases. The opposition to Pride is not about bigotry or hatred. The opposition we're seeing to Pride is about the sexualization of our children. What Pride started out as versus what it is now is two very different things. Pride now targets children in their bathrooms, their locker rooms, and their sports teams, specifically the young girls. It targets children in schools and libraries. The sexualization of our children is wrong, and local governments like this should not be endorsing it or sponsoring it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Come forward and state your name and address, please.
Thank you. Travis Tyson, I'm the administrator for our town of Gibraltar. Address is 6085 Governor's Woods Trail. Number 12 on today's agenda, when airports acquire land to meet BOA requirements, keeping historical data on all parcels purchased by the airports is necessary. The proposed language works to view the airport in its entirety rather than each parcel, keeping parcels individual. I applaud Door County zoning staff and the amended language change. This change will streamline airport zoning reviews, saving both airport staff and Door County zoning staff time. Additionally, this will help reduce redundancies. As Ephraim Gibraltar Airport Manager, I support this language change and ask you do as well. Thank you.
Welcome. Anyone else from the public that wish to make a comment? Again, state your name and address, please.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Coates. My address is 2986 Lake Forest Park Road here in Sturgeon Bay. I'd like to thank the board for voting against Open Doors Pride Proclamation. This affects my family. 5 years ago, my very girly girl granddaughter decided she was a gay boy. Her teachers all affirmed this, told her it was wonderful. What they didn't do was they didn't tell any of her family, her mother, father, myself, my husband. We found out through another parent after she had cut off her beautiful long hair and started wearing baggy sweatshirts instead of dresses. We told her, you know, we love you, you're a girl, this is, excuse me. We didn't affirm her. And we told her, you need to wait until you're 18 years old before starting taking dangerous drugs or cutting off body parts. Thank God she agreed to wait until she was 18. She is now graduating. She just graduated. She's a beautiful, healthy, and intact young woman. This is a phase. It's a social contagion. We need to do better to protect our children. If we would have affirmed her, she now would be on drugs, possibly mutilated. Thank you again for not passing this proclamation.
Is there anyone else in the public that wishes to speak?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Matt Peter, 11 North 17th Drive in Sturgeon Bay. On June 9th of this year, the town of Sturgeon Bay agreed to add to their agenda a Pride Proclamation request from Open Door Pride. They were actually requested to come and talk to the town board. Although the town of Sturgeon Bay does not provide proclamations, the town board still agreed and even encouraged the nonprofit group to come speak about their proclamation request and about the importance that the proclamation has on our community. Again, they don't, the town of Sturgeon Bay does not offer proclamations, but they still encourage the group to speak because that is what real leaders do. They take the time to listen. Now, more than ever, it is time for us to be thinking about how we can come together, how we can be building longer tables and fewer walls. When the world around us seems like it's falling apart and the future is incredibly uncertain, one thing that makes us safer is having a strong community. And a strong community operates by allowing space for listening and discussing viewpoints that you may not necessarily agree with. There is no downside to allowing your neighbors the space to discuss a topic that is undeniably important to so many people in this county and across this country. The worst case scenario is that you walk away with the same opinion that you had coming in. So I'm not here today to convince you to support a marginalized group, one that continues to face mounting persecution and targeted threats from both citizens and government, but to remind you all that as elected representatives, your primary responsibility is not to a budget, it's not to culture war issues, it's not to personal ideologies, but it's to our community and the people in it. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else from the public that wishes to make a comment at this time?
My name is Jesse Simcox. I live at 122 Highway 42, Gills Rock. Many of you may know me as part of the sober living community. I help counsel incarcerated LGBT people who struggle with alcohol and drug addiction. I also serve as the Midwest Director of Gays Against Groomers. We're a coalition of gay, lesbians, and some trans people, like actual people who acknowledge they have a mental disability that for whatever reason makes them think that they're born in the wrong body, but they don't want to force it on other people, and most certainly do not want to target children like members of Open Door Pride. Members of the board, I want to thank you for staying neutral in the 12-8 decision. This stuff has no business in county government. Adults, you can do whatever you want. You can display whatever you want on your own private property. You can put up the pedophilic baby blue and little girl pink transgender flags on your own property, but just leave it out of the government. Stay neutral. I'm not here to condemn anyone for voting for or against it. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that probably don't understand. This movement targets emotionally weak, woke, white, heterosexual women. It's an oppressed versus oppressor situation where parents who want their kids to have special rights and privileges because they're not a different race can reinvent oppression. They can reinvent victimization. Several underage girls at the Sevastopol School District were sold a heartbreaking lie by adult members of Open Door Pride that the transgender lifestyle would erase their pain and anxiety and depression forever. They were given very pornographic books by Open Door Pride. Open Door Pride even wrote about it in the county pulse, how they're giving inclusive LGBTQ plus material to children. So you don't have to believe me, just believe them. Children were instructed how to draw penises on girls, vaginas on boys, learn about all sorts of sexual stuff. There's a word search in this book where kids were learning about fisting. I don't know if you know what that was, but I had to Google it and I did not like that. These are kids. You may think that Open Door Pride is a bunch of glitter and rainbows and adults just being adults. They're targeting our kids. I'm embarrassed as a gay man to say this. It's just not right. Also, Open Door Pride put up on Memorial Day, instead of thanking our veterans, they put out a declaration of Pansexual Day. Now, parents were absolutely confused as to why their kids at Gibraltar were identifying as pansexual or pansgender. Open Door Pride started a gender and sexuality club at the schools, and children were told to lie to their parents about their whereabouts and their activities, saying that they were staying after school for extracurricular help or tutoring when they were really attending a sex club. And some of the material that was given to school to the children was very disturbing. This is a book about a transgender girl that wants to be a boy, and she and her brother are tasting their own vagina fluid. This book also tells kids how to hook up on adult sex apps like Grindr and Tinder and avoid showing proper like age verification.
You have 30 seconds.
Thank you. Also, if you think that this group is targeting teenagers, it targets young children. In the Sevastopol School District, little kids were taught about the gender unicorn, where they can pick their sexual identity, pick all different kinds of genders, and keep secrets with their parents. Open Door Pride also gave out pronoun pins to kids at the school district where they can identify as they, them, Zer, she, they, and he, they. So I just want to say thank you for staying neutral. I don't think you see the underbelly of this beast. You just see glitter and rainbows, and you don't see what's really going on because they target people and say that if you speak out against this, you're spreading hate and that you're against inclusivity. Again, I just want to reiterate, we don't care what adults do, but this group is in our communities targeting children.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Anyone else in the public that would like to make a comment?
Hello, I'm Sammy Garzanagel. I live at 2960 Settlement Road in Sturgeon Bay. I'm from Gays Against Groomers, and I want to thank you for downvoting the Pride Month proclamation. A month is not a right, it's a month. And we've gotten confused a lot about rights and privileges in this country. And we've got our hard-won rights. Every single American has the same rights now. And we are so blessed in this country. We have so much, but we still want more. And we're humans, of course we do. We all want a better, more richer, fuller life, but we have our rights. Everything else is privileges. Everything else is earned or, gathered or given. And we all have the same protections, laws, rules, everything we wanted, we have. We protested, marched, lobbied, we've been harassed, imprisoned, killed for these rights to be an equal American. We don't need a month to signify that we are a whole American now. There's a quote from Morgan Freeman that I like. You're going to relegate my history to a month. We don't need a month. We have it all year. We're not just who we are in June. We're Americans all year long. We're gay all year long. We fought so we don't have to separate ourselves. We fought for equality to be treated like everyone else. And instead of Pride being a celebration now, it's a form of bullying, coercion, and forced speech. Instead of it being a celebration of winning our rights, it's become more of a de-evolution into debauchery. What was once a real source of pride has brought me embarrassment and not wanting to join in. I have my son, and I would never bring him to the Pride festivals of today because I can't trust that there won't be inappropriate sexual attire, products, or images for his age range. He's a sweet 10-year-old boy with cognitive delays. He cannot always see people that have ill intent because he truly believes that people do good in the world and want the best for him. And unfortunately, that is the problem because people don't always have his best interests at heart and believe things. If enough people tell him, he'll believe it. And that's why I'm skeptical of this new Pride targeting children with the bright colors, the glitter, and the over-the-top cartoonish actions. I'm skeptical of adults going up to a child and talking about sexual concepts or identity issues. I want my child to have pride in himself as himself. So thank you for choosing sanity.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience that would like to make a public comment?
Hi, Michelle Roma from 1014 Superior Street. I would just like to encourage the board to fact check any information that they've received tonight. Educating yourself is important. The Trevor Project has some great statistics. Fact check information, and I would caution you to listen to any facts from people who actually are talking about protecting children but have restraining orders from local school districts. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to make a public comment? Seeing no indication, we'll go to those online.